Let's talk about the time we went camping with the smudge pots.
Oh yeah.
We decided to go down to Brush Creek and we all going to camp out. And old Sandy Qualls, matter of fact, I got a text from him today. Happy New Year. He's still going. But we kids, we all, Sandy's old grandpa had an old Ford truck. So we go down there and pull it, not too far from the house, a couple miles from Brush Creek. And we had a place we'd go down to on the creek. We'd cross this big old ditch and jump this fence, and we go down there and had a spot in the ground like that, right by the water.
So where about is this at?
It's over, it's south of Columbus, 6 miles south, and then back east about 2 or 3 miles, then back north a little bit. Brush Creek run through there.
Yeah.
It's where we lived on the farm. My dad lived on the farm, not too far from there, just a couple miles from our house. So we went down there, me and Dave, and Terry Lowe, and Sandy Qualls, and there's 4 of us. And we go down there, and Sandy took us coon dog. And the way we go coon hunting was we'd let the dog go. And if he treed, he found something, we might go look for him. Maybe not, because we usually had some beer, and we used to stay pretty close to the fire. So we had these smudge pots burning. So we're sitting there, we hear that old coon hound, the old hound back there, and he got something, back in there, and we're talking and stuff, and pretty soon, here come the dog. And he walked, we heard something through the brush, and he could come over on the other side of the creek, and he jumped the water and come across, and he come over there and laid down by Sandy. And Sandy goes, "What's wrong with you? How come you back here?" He come back here. Pretty soon we heard this blood-curdling scream. It sounded like a woman screaming. "Ah," like that. Well, what in the hell was that? And the fire was, fire flickers, and you can see a little further. And across the creek, opposite down there, we see these 2 shining eyes, like that. Oh, jeez, that was it. We grabbed our smudge pots, stayed there. We jumped up and took off running down the creek, and we get to the fence, and Sandy piled over the fence and climbed over, and Terry Lowe climbing on the fence, and he bounced like this, and he had a shotgun in his hand, and as he jumped, he went back like that, and that butt of that shotgun hit old Dave right square in the mouth. Boom, like that. Hit him in the mouth. He goes, "Lowe, I'm going to kill you." And I guess we jump over and we get in that truck. And that was it for me and Terry. We went to his house and I spent the night with him there. Dave and Sandy went back there and sat on the bridge in that old Ford truck, but they didn't go back down there. But that's the same time span that we saw that big panther across the road I was telling you about earlier that had crossed the road. So we know there was a panther in the area. And
what year?
Probably 60, let's see. 64, 65, somewhere right in there, 1964 or something like that. I was about, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 64, 65, somewhere in there.
You're pretty young.
Yeah, I was about 12, 13, maybe 12, 11, 12, about 12 maybe.
So what you call a smudge pot, basically just the big...
The old gallon, everybody had gallon coffee cans.
Yeah, the Folgers cans.
Folgers cans.
You stuff a burlap sack down it and then cover it with diesel.
Fill it in diesel. Dad worked for the county. I had a big old tank full of diesels. We could get some diesel and fill them up and carry them out there and then light them, and they just burn like a big wick, just burn. It had put off pretty good flame, and it burned forever. It burned almost all night, real slow.
Yeah, we did it.
And stuff.
You taught Jason and I how to do that when we were little, but finding burlap anymore is...
Oh, yeah, ain't nobody got burlap sacks no more.
And not only that,
everybody had them. All your feed, all the seed and feed, everything come in burlap sacks.
Now it's made out of paper.
Yeah, paper or plastic, and stuff. But
and finding a metal Folgers can.
If you even had now you can just take a rag, any rag, and then diesel and put it in the can and light it at the top. Just pull a little bit up, and it'll make a wick out of it and light it, and it'll start burning. But it'll just burn, burn, burn. Works good. But, oh, good Lord. I don't know how many times.
And so, did you ever see eyes across the creek when you guys took off, or you just heard something?
We heard it, and we saw the eyes, and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
How high were the eyes off the...
Probably, 18 inches or something.
And the panther that you saw, because that was... So, I have told people this, I said, well, my dad and my uncle always said panther, they didn't say cougar.
Yeah, just black, we call them panther, black panther. black, just coal black. And what we'd heard when we were kids, that around the Riverton Lowell area, back in the 30s or 40s, somewhere in there was a big circus train, and the train derailed, and some of the panthers got loose, and some of the animals got loose, and they never did get the panthers or something like that. So they think that's possibly where they met up and bred, or maybe that was part of. It had to be some of the family because it was too many years before, but something. But that's supposedly, that's what we heard. That's where they possibly came from. And people had somebody else. Flat Rock, which is north of Baxter, our cousin Bus owned the place where Brush Creek runs into Spring River. There was an Indian camp there years ago, and we found arrowheads and stuff there, and before Bex even picked them up, found arrowheads. But it's called Flat Rock too because there by the river is a great big old bare sandstone rock or some big old place, you know. And some guy said he was flying an airplane. He's flying an airplane over there. He just happened to look down and seen a couple of big old black cats laying on it like in the sun. So he circled the plane, made a circle, and he come back, and when he came back, they were gone. But he said he knows what he saw. I saw a couple big cats. He wanted to take another loop around and look at them again, but they were gone. So he saw a couple black cats laying on them rocks, you know, like sunning out in the sun. So I've heard it from different people as a kid growing up that they'd seen sightings of them and stuff. But
I would hear stuff too when I was in high school, but you would think now with trail cams, somebody would pick something up if they're still around.
Yeah.